Hi everyone, it's Take Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. I can't remember anything that we said before. I think I was being pretty funny. I'm sorry that that's all gone. OBS broke, but whatever. With me as always is Kylie Theodora. Kylie, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. My tummy is full of a bagel egg sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts and
Nice.
coffee. So I'm full
God.
and I'm wicked on edge and I'm ready to go. It's run button.
You're
Run
wicked
button.
on edge.
Just
What's
don't
making you wicked on edge?
the coffee. Don't think, just hit it.
I can't
Run
believe we
button.
missed all that stuff about the aspects and the
Oh fuck.
yeah, it's all gone.
Holy
I was talking
shit.
about
Oh.
yeah, it was
Well,
funny,
no,
right?
no. Oh, well, then don't explain it. We'll just
Okay.
maybe it'll come back someday.
Okay.
It's
So
whatever.
okay.
It's we're not gonna make the loss of that bit any softer by ruining the bit by explaining it. Suffice it to say, we had a funny joke.
Yeah, and it's just for me and Kylie, I guess.
It's,
You got to
it's just for us.
hear her reaction to it. If at some point Kylie laughed, it's because of my three aspects.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's at least one. It's at least 1 to 3 of your many aspects, I would
right,
say.
sure. Okay, well that's a little bit of a deflated balloon there. That's fine, and I'm fine. What have you been doing, Kylie?
That's fine. I mean, yeah, deflated balloon just sounds like pretty much my everyday existence at this point.
Bummer.
Yeah. Um, I'm been playing a lot of Monster Hunter.
Oh, okay, that one's not sad. How's Monster Hunter?
Just Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter's great. I like that Monster Hunter a lot.
Yeah.
It turns out this is kind of an unusual one. It's a really small one.
Like the map is small.
No, like the amount of content is small. I think it's because they're gonna have like free updates, expansion packs, all that
That's
stuff.
nice.
So it's kind of early days, which I actually appreciate because it means I'm one rank down from the maximum rank right now, and the idea that I would even temporarily reach some kind of level cap in Monster Hunter is absurd to me.
Well,
So I like that.
people should go and watch the episode we did with Paul Veer, where you two played Monster Hunter, and I basically interrogated you about
Yeah.
Monster Hunter. And I think that turned out really good. People should watch that
Yeah.
to get a Monster Hunter thoughts.
So I would like to say, watch it to get the Monster Hunter thoughts, but as you're watching it, just know that a week later, I'm much better at playing Monster Hunter than I was in that video.
Sure, we all know it was established that you were early days. You were
Right.
only
It's in the
like
title of the
5 hours
video.
in. Say again.
It's in the title of the video. Monster Mornings, early to rise.
Have your thoughts changed at all as your time with the game has matured?
Ooh, have my thoughts changed? Let me think. Let me ponder upon how my thoughts have changed. No, I don't think so.
That's great. So you like it still, and do you feel any way? I sort of considered getting this game, and then I decided I probably should wait until the theoretical new Switch that everyone seems pretty sure is definitely coming at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And I was like,
okay, go keep.
oh, I was like, I should wait until that new Switch comes out. I'm gonna buy a Switch. I'm gonna want something that looks really good to play on it. And I'm hearing now that it's kind of a shorter game, and they're gonna be adding updates to it. And so I'm kind of like, maybe that even increases me waiting, because I will buy a game with more content in it when I do buy it, and it'll probably be cheaper too.
Maybe that's something to do. I did think of one thing that I forgot to hit on about Monster Hunter Rise, but real quick about your thing. The only reason I wouldn't peg Monster Hunter Rise as like like a shoe-in for like wait for Switch Pro is just because it runs so fucking well already. You
Right.
know, it's definitely not one of those games where it's like, ooh, this one needs more horsepower. Like, I'm very impressed with how that game runs on Switch.
Hmm.
So, you know, I'm not sure I would recommend needing to wait for that one. And even like, you know, if you want to wait for more content, that's on you. Like I said, for me, I'm almost like more excited about the lower content because usually like I'm overwhelmed by the amount of content in a Monster Hunter, and like the idea that I will have seen it all until they add more is like weirdly kind of exciting. I mean, I'm probably kind of coming up on the end of my time with it because I've just been playing it so much. Um, but I did want to hit
Do
on
you have a
because
theoretical hour count
my theoretical
or
hour count.
hypothetical, I guess, or
I
give a
I
guess?
couldn't I couldn't even guess honestly. It's up there. It's probably around 50 at least. Especially because I've been doing that thing where like I'll play the game for 2 hours but then get kind of tired but just idle like sit idle in the game for 90 minutes and then like play for another 2 hours or something, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Um
Yeah, I've done. There's
uh,
a ton of games that I will never know how much I played because of stuff like
right,
that.
yeah. And I've tried to make a conscious effort in recent years to just not care about that as much because I used to be the person who's like, I want my game clock to show me exactly how much I've played this game, so I can't let it idle. I can't pause it for too long. But now I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't put any effort into it, but I'm always disappointed that I didn't. I'm always like, I wish I knew, but not enough to change my behavior, which is leaving a game on and going and making lunch, and then coming back and sitting and eating lunch, and then picking it back up, and then only 2 months later being like, did I put 70 hours into this game? And it's like, no, I put 30 hours into this game, and I let my computer sit there overnight 3 nights in a row.
Sure. Uh, I guess you know, I think pretty much most of the thoughts I had, we probably got out on that Monster Hunter video, but the big one I wanted to hit on that I forgot about for that video and even went in the opposite direction was like we spent a lot of time talking about how complicated the game is and how hard it is to like kind of get into it. And I
Yeah,
even told that I reiterated that same story about people being mean at me about Monster Hunter at PAX.
right.
But the part I forgot to mention was the reason that that stands out in my head so much is it's actually like really not indicative of at all of like the experience you'll have playing that game online because even though Monster Hunter is like a really complicated game that you have to learn the ins and outs of like say a MOBA or something, it doesn't have that level of like shitty online assholes being all like
Right.
play your class at you.
Well, the thing that we discovered,
It's a co-op game, so
yeah,
it's pretty friendly. People are, you know, it is largely a game of patience, and the more experienced players know that better than anyone. So people are usually just nice and friendly, and it's if you're basically like if you want to find that like for me what I got out of like WoW rating, which is like, oh, you know, I have a team of people and they're relying upon me to perform well. So it does feel like there's a little pressure, but it's not like that huge like, you know, people are actually going to get butthurt if they don't get the right drops on Tuesday night or whatever it
yeah.
is with rating, you know?
Well, the thing that we discovered when you were telling that story is that those people were just random idiots. They weren't Monster Hunter people. They were just watching a game and being like, I'm a gamer who knows better.
Yeah. Or really they were Monster Hunter sophomores, you know, like they
Right,
were, you know, had played enough of it to think that they were pros, but not enough to
right.
actually be pros.
What's
They
that?
were
What's
just
that
being assholes
curve
to
called that
themselves.
the logic people? You know the logic You know how that they're those people
No.
that are so into being smart that it makes them stupid and it makes them
Are you
also extremely annoying.
Oh no, are you talking about us? Oh fuck.
No, 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 not us. Like weird, like rational, like just like rationality and logic,
Yeah.
logic,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
fetishists. You know, those
yeah, I
people.
know.
They
Yeah,
have
white
one of the
guys.
things that they don't shut up about is that curve where it's like the point where you're most aware of how little you know on a subject is when you are
Oh my
just starting out, and then
yeah, yeah,
also when
yeah.
you're an expert in it, and then
Right.
uh,
Dude, so of course I've heard of this idea, right? Of the thing of like knowing just enough to be dangerous to yourself
Right, yeah.
is kind of a shorter way to say it.
Yeah.
And
There's
what
a reverse
fucking
bell
drives me
curve that has like a
crazy,
name that I can't remember.
I'm sure you've seen this, but of course you've seen all the MasterClass commercials that have been going for
Yeah,
years at this
yeah.
point on YouTube, right?
Uh-huh.
And you've seen the fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson one, right?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
So
So
I
the
haven't
Master.
seen these in a while because I pay for the YouTube that doesn't have ads because
Oh,
I
right,
use
right.
YouTube Music instead of Spotify because it's better in pretty much every single way. People that are on Spotify are scamming yourselves. But YouTube Red, which doesn't have ads, comes free with YouTube Music, and also if you use YouTube on your phone a lot, it also lets you lock your phone without the YouTube stopping.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So three very good things for the price of Spotify,
Yeah,
and also it's better. Anyway,
yes, and all right, and thank you YouTube for sponsoring this show.
look,
Our ad break is done now. We can get back to the discussion.
okay,
No,
well,
okay. So, anyways, these masterclass ads, I'm sure everyone's seen them, but just the idea is like they're basically tutorial series on how to be good at a thing, but they're done by like a world
right,
famous person in that field. So
and
it's like how to compose movies by Hans Zimmer, right? But it's like
right.
you watch the commercial and it's like Hans Zimmer being really charming, and you're like, damn, I don't even care about scoring movies. I want to watch the masterclass just to hear Hans Zimmer teach me about music. Like, that's cool. But like, and all like kind of all the commercials are like that. We're like, yeah, I want Gordon Ramsay to show me how to make desserts or something.
Yeah. Well, the
But then
trick
like,
is, and I don't know if this is where you're going, but the trick is like they don't actually teach you anything. They are showing you some sort of vague theoretical attitude about like their philosophy behind why they do what they do, but they don't actually show you like Hans Zimmer is not teaching you music theory, I don't think, in these.
I don't know. I haven't seen one.
I'm pretty sure no.
There's even a Steve Martin one about how to do comedy, which is funny because doesn't he hate that? I don't know.
He doesn't.
Well, he doesn't like stand up.
He feels sad about his stand-up career because it made him feel like he couldn't.
Right.
He felt like people were laughing at him even when he was not being funny, and so he couldn't tell what was good and what was bad anymore, and so he felt like he had to quit.
If you listen to those old Steve Martin albums, they absolutely were.
They actually were funny, is what you're saying.
Oh no, I was saying they absolutely were laughing when he wasn't being funny.
Oh, I disagree. I think that there are several of those old albums where he is 100% hilarious the entire way through. Some of the funniest stuff that's ever been committed to tape. Yeah, best stuff. That's some of the best stuff out there, I think.
And anyways, this is all the explanation of the masterclass is just to say that I only saw like the very beginning of the Neil deGrasse Tyson one because I skip it immediately because it's so terrible.
Right.
But
well, because he's an asshole and a sex creep.
Yeah, and we know that now. And it starts with him being like, one of the hardest things in this world is to know enough about something to think that you're right, but to not know enough to know that you're wrong. And I'm like, dude,
Genius.
everyone's fucking heard. He just said it like it was the most profound thing ever. Like, it was like as if he just went, how come we drive on a parkway, but we park in a driveway? You know, it's like, yeah, we fucking heard it. Like, where is, you know, it's just so taken aback by like I said, it's like the Hans, you know, I watch Hans Zimmer talk about music for 2 seconds and I'm like, yeah, I want him to learn everything Hans Zimmer has to teach me. And Neil deGrasse Tyson, 2 seconds. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who would go to like an art museum and write up critiques about all the inaccurate stars and moons. And like this is not actually how the moon looks. You should, if you're doing art, you should take the time to learn how the moon looks.
It's
pointillism, Neil.
These stars are totally inaccurate. Like, this is a picture of a hill slope.
I would love to see Neil deGrasse's rebuttal of Starry Night. Anyway, fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think you're right. And I do, even though I don't even like Hans Zimmer as a composer or a person,
Sure, yeah.
I do, well, I like some of his composing, but every time I see that commercial, I am like, this seems like a fun watch.
Yeah.
They're extremely expensive though. If people want to watch it, just torrent it, whatever.
Yeah, you can Google, you can torrent them.
Yeah. Did you torrent the Hans Zimmer one?
No, but I would. Maybe I'll watch it and report back.
Is my my guess. So the Steve Martin one is a little bit different, I think, because like teaching you his, I think specifically, I don't think it's how to do comedy. I think it's how to tell a story is what his is. Pretty sure.
Well, I know that the class is literally like a comedy. It's like something very broad, like how to do comedy, or just like lesson in comedy by Steve Martin. Or it could be how to write comedy. I'm not sure.
Steve Martin teaches comedy is what it is. Okay. I think maybe it was just in the commercial that I saw for it. It was like how to tell a story, how to write a funny story or something. Anyway, that one's a little different because it's not like there's not a strong theoretical basis for how to be funny. There's a lot of different ways to be funny. And like there's a lot of different ways to write music, but there's also like a lot of math about music. There's not a lot of math about comedy.
That's the thing is like, I haven't even, I made a quip about Steve Martin's stand-up comedy, but like you're the one who's actually listened to all that shit. I've just seen like bits and pieces.
It's so good. It's unbelievable how good it is. It holds up and extremely well. Everyone should listen to Get Small is a really good one. I think Wild and Crazy Guy is his most popular one. That's the one where like you can hear it's like, I mean, he was like a mega star. Like it was unbelievable. Right, yeah. His stupid song about King Tut that totally sucks was like #1 on the Billboard charts. It's crazy.
Is basic. Yeah. Oh, so Wild and Crazy Guy is like basically what I'm thinking about when I say people were laughing at his jokes that weren't funny. Like Wild and Crazy Guy was like a best-selling comedy record that has like tons of only visual bits on it and stuff. And like, yeah, but whatever.
That was a total mistake.
What the fuck?
I got a rim shot here. I just accidentally.
This is what I'm talking about. Nobody can tell when I'm telling jokes anymore. That wasn't the punchline.
Wild and Crazy Guy, I think, is really good, but it does have it does have a lot of visual stuff on it. But the thing that I think gets lost with Steve Martin is like there is an irony factor to what he does that is not hidden at all, but I think didn't translate well to the time. So I think there's like a lot of laughter at things as if what he's doing is at the joke on its face when the actual joke is an ironic joke about the joke on its face. Maybe I'm not giving people from the 60s and 70s enough credit, but it sometimes feels like people are laughing at his stupidest jokes not because they're like, this is an ironic joke about a stupid joke, but because it's a stupid joke.
And maybe there's some again, I haven't listened to this stuff,
which is what makes him play really well in the 21st century.
Right, but I know that when you're the biggest comedy star on the planet and you're, putting out the best-selling comedy album literally ever recorded or whatever, and you're filling stadiums, like when you're popular for being funny on that level, there's just no way that people are going to be getting the deeper levels on your jokes. Like, when you're Dane Cook, it's like it doesn't matter if Dane Cook is gonna put in really heady jokes because he got popular for like pretending to pretending to be the alien from Alien. So
right, I forgot about that. I can like literally picture him doing that impression.
I know, I totally can too. Whatever. Like I actually do think that like Dane Cook, well, not an incredible comedian, had a little bit more going on than people that don't like Dane Cook like to give him credit for. But I'm not trying to fucking.
No, I agree. I feel guilty of disowning my 11-year-old appreciation of Dane Cook more severely than I ought to have, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of stuff that we like that I think Dane Cook does is it's like I don't even want to call it wordplay, but just like being silly with the way you say things in a
Yeah.
like like what that
That gets a lot of
it's
shit, but it's funny to say the
yeah.
same thing 3 different ways and then you say it goofy one of the times.
Right.
And then do that for an hour. That's fun.
Because you and we would be the biggest hypocrites ever if we said that there was nothing to that, because that's like half the shit we do is just to be like, like we're just saying words weirdly because we don't have anything else to say. It's just, we're not
Well,
pre-scripting it
I would
before we
never
go out on stage.
I would never say that we don't have anything else to say. We seem to always have something else to say.
If we've been playing a Silent Hill game for 2 hours, we don't have anything else
that's
to
fair.
say.
Is that us or is that Silent Hill?
It's Silent. It's Silent Hill.
Yeah,
it's definitely Silent.
It's definitely
Hill.
Silent Hill. Yeah. And anyway, the information, the Steve Martin, what is Steve Martin thinking about his own career stuff? That comes from his book, Born Standing Up, that I read 12 years ago or something like that. So, not the freshest in my mind, but it was a really good book. And if you take it at face value, that is sort of what was happening there. It's a shame because I think that all those albums have a lot of really good stuff in them. Get Small is a weird one. It's funny. It's named after the worst bit in the whole thing. The whole album is really good, but it's named after his bit Get Small, where he just talks about doing drugs, but replaces the word get high with get small, and then pretends that when you do drugs, you actually become extremely tiny. And it's like, it's fine, but it's very weird that is what it's named after. I think it was a lot edgier to talk about drugs in like whatever year that came out in.
Sure. Or, maybe the joke is like, I'm doing the thing everyone's doing, talking about drugs, but I'm just doing it in the weirdest way.
Yeah.
It's funny I would bring up Dane Cook. I think I actually, and I think this is maybe this is not an interview I saw, but it's like a secondhand story from Dane Cook that he said like he had dinner with Steve Martin once and like talked to him about stand-up. And at some point, Steve Martin was like, oh, you like you really love it. And Dane Cook's like, yeah, I love doing stand-up, don't you? And he's just like, no, I never did. I hated it.
It makes sense. I mean, you look at the rest of his career, and he decided to instead be a banjo player, an art collector, a playwright, and an actor. So, and pretty much anything that you can do in the arts except for continuing to do stand-up. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he did most of his shtick. He was doing a character that was like kind of a sleazy, lounge act that like a guy like the character that he played was a guy who had to go on stage and do a job and was just like trying to get through his job a lot of the time. Like he wasn't always in that mode, but it's like, it makes sense if you don't actually like doing stand up that
you would think
up a character who's like instead of being famous Steve Martin, you're just a guy who gets paid, $100 a night to go on stage for an hour or two, but every night in the same club because you're in Las Vegas and that's just what you need. That's what clubs need in Las Vegas. Is just a guy that plays the same club every night. And that's why he would do stupid thing. That's why a lot of his bits are like a guy who's grasping at a bit, like the fucking like I'm just going to play a weird song right now. I'm gonna put like a goofy mask on or like the arrow thing. Like no one thinks that putting a little arrow thing on your head, the thing that makes it look like an arrow's going through your head. Nobody thinks that's funny. Unless
I don't know. Why don't we listen to Wild and Crazy Guy and see how funny they thought it was?
Well, it's funny. It's funny in the context of him being like, I've got this thing on my head. Isn't that funny?
All right, maybe I should go back and listen.
Yeah, it's good.
It's you bring up. I didn't know about this lounge comedian pseudo character thing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, though, you think about it, like, that is totally a person that doesn't exist anymore.
Yes,
The
it does not exist now.
guy you've never heard of, but just who works at this casino to tell jokes every night,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's, that like now we only have like, either there's a comedian who's famous locally who goes to all different clubs, or like a nationally or world famous
Right.
comedian.
It's like the stereotype of the like the Catskills comedian. Like that is all that's gone. Oh, I don't know if it's gone, but at least it's gone as a cultural touchstone.
I don't really know much about that. You're saying like comedian who plays a rock club basically, or
No,
a
no, no. This
jazz
is
club.
like
I don't even remember what the Catskills is.
Catskills is it's a mountain range in New York, and it's like this. It is a comedian for like older people because they'll go to this club and there'll be like this old guy who does old people comedy for old people.
Sure.
But maybe the reason that it's not a cultural touchstone anymore is because people don't go on vacation anymore because everyone's poor. But that's just a guess.
Or just when they do save up the money to go on vacation, they're gonna fly to someplace tropical instead of just like drive to the closest place with trees,
Right.
like people used to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why this guy has a reputation for being like an old guy comedian for old people, because that's still what old people do. They go to a nice-ish hotel in the woods.
Whatever. I'm talking shit about old. That's the way to vacation. You don't need to fly anywhere. Just go someplace with trees. Come on.
But yeah, there used to be like a lot of stereotypes about not stereotypes, but like cultural touchstones of different kind of extremely low level entertainers. And it's just like, yeah, all of those things have like stopped. Like you can't get a job as a low level entertainer anymore.
This is essentially like the energy that Frank Sinatra was always playing with, right? Is like his thing is he's like world famous musician, but who's serving you the vibe of like, I just work at this lounge or whatever.
Right. Yeah. The crooner is like the successful version of the lounge singer.
Yeah.
That's how you get. That's why none of them actually have that good of voices. Yeah, like none of those crooner types have like really phenomenal voices, but it's like the lounge singer who makes it because they have some sort of charisma or an interesting personality, or maybe they are slightly better at singing, or they just get like a good manager, or I don't know how it happens, but like, yeah, that's sort of the thing is like, those crooner types are like the Vegas lounge singers who made it, basically, in terms of style of act, not literally.
So, like the internet and YouTube has like totally replaced this right now. We're like, I was going to say like, oh, there's no way to be like a modestly successful artist or a musician anymore, which I mean is still largely true. I mean, could you ever really do that? I mean, it's always hard to be an artist, but like, now it's like in the same way there used to just be a million parlor musicians. Now there's a million YouTube musicians.
Yeah.
And other losers doing things like just playing a video game and talking like that's entertainment.
Stupid. Yeah, that is. Yeah, in a way, we are the modern day lounge act.
Appalach says Frank Sinatra had help from the mafia, so kind of just a really good manager.
Yeah, so this is the sort of Steve Martin character, which is like a guy who's a little bit Sinatra lounge singer style guy, like low level lounge singer guy, a weird magician, and like a guy who's desperate to pad out a show that he has to do every night. Yeah. Like that is like his sort of. That's why he'll just make balloon animals in his act, and it'll just be like, here, is that good? Like, do you like this? Like.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it's really funny.
I'm also like, this is reminding me, I know you don't, I mean, neither of us are really Patton Oswalt fans anymore, but I don't know how late this was. Did you ever hear the Patton Oswalt album where he has the bit about the angry magician comic from the 80s or whatever?
No, maybe.
Oh, he has a great story about like he went to a club to play comedy. Another guy was like a comedy magician, which was a thing
Right.
in the 80s.
I do
And like
remember
they,
this.
they found out right before going on that they were getting screwed out of what they were promised by the manager. So like the magician just goes on stage and just has like, like the common thing for like stage magician is like a trunk of packed tricks. Then you do the trick, then you throw it in a hamper like when it's over. And so the guy just went on stage and just like no patter, no nothing, just very angrily doing his trick, holding it up, saying okay, and then angrily throwing it in the hamper.
I
Like,
do remember
I have
this.
one ball, now it's two balls, now it's one ball again. Okay. And I'm just like thinking about this as you're talking about Steve Martin. Like, I made a balloon animal, okay?
Yeah.
Meh. I have an arrow on my head, okay?
I do remember that story. That's a funny story. There's I think you talk about like when you do impressions and you have a sort of like touchstone, like an anchor phrase that you'll say to get into an impression. Not you, like someone who might do an impression.
See these two toe hooks or whatever. I just remember red versus blue anchor phrases.
That's funny. The sort of like, it's not an anchor phrase to do a Steve Martin impression, but the sort of key, the like keystone of like, how do you understand the Steve Martin character for me is, I think it's like literally the first thing from Wild and Crazy Guy, but it might be Get Small, where he gets on stage and he's like, oh, thank you. A lot of acts will come up here and they'll say something stupid like, hey, it's really great to be here, but I just want everyone to know, hey, it's really great to be here. I fucking love that joke. It's so funny, and it's sort of like the keystone of the Steve Martin bit, which is like guy who's pretending to be a big deal but he's not, guy who doesn't really want to be on stage but he has to get paid, and like sleazy sort of lounge act kind of guy. It works really well now somehow. I don't know why.
I appreciate this perspective on Steve Martin. I'll have to go see how I feel about it now, because I feel like you've played a lot of Steve Martin tracks for me over the years. Be like, I bet this one will get you though, and I don't really ever remember being like, yeah, that was really funny, but maybe this will help me get into it.
Yeah,
maybe with this new anchor joke.
Yeah,
I'll whatever.
Because it's refreshing, if you think of stand-up comedy from the last 20 years, there's comedians who have like a vibe or maybe even like a shtick, but there's not a lot that do their show as a character.
Right.
Like
and
you
sometimes
get like
the ones that do just decide they are that character now.
Right, exactly, sure.
Like Andrew Dice Clay.
Yes, yeah. But if like what's his name? Jim Gaffigan has his like audience voice shtick that he does.
Yeah.
It's not really that's not the same, because he does the show as himself, but then he has like the backup thing. Like, is he really doing the voice still?
Right, yeah, and that was exactly the joke of that in my head, is like, oh, he's doing the voice already. Like, that's definitely a permanent fixture of his act.
Right, yeah. Well, it's because he did that thing got him to be one of the only, at any given time, there's only 3 comedians that are famous enough for regular people to know who they are. He was one of those 3. And so how do you axe a bit that makes you, for like 10 years at this point, one of the 3 comedians that regular people know?
Right. Yeah, someone in the long shorts in the chat saying Larry the Cable Guy. That was the other one I couldn't think of. That guy's name isn't even Larry.
Yeah, but is Larry the Cable Guy not who that guy is now?
That's what I'm saying. He's the other guy who is like, I'm just this now.
Right, yeah.
The thing, you know what? I mean, other than the fact that the Larry the Cable Guy character fucking blows,
yeah,
I don't really have any problem with the fact that he did the character.
No.
Other than like, I remember that character was introduced to most people through the Blue Collar Comedy Tour movie. And like during that movie on stage, Jeff Foxworthy like points to him and is like, this isn't a character. He's just like this all the time. And it's like, fuck you, Jeff Foxworthy. Like, don't lie to my face.
Right.
Like, if you want
Well,
to do a character, fine. Don't lie to me about it.
he could have. I'm just gonna give Jeff Foxworthy 1 inch of credit and say,
1 inch of rope to hang himself with, more like.
well, he has a very small neck, so it works. You only need 1 inch. Famously tiny neck. It is possible that he is just always like that, even though it is technically a character. He could have already just become that guy.
Okay. I mean,
Because by the time you get a movie, he must have been doing that character for a decade.
but no one had seen it, right? I mean, I certainly hadn't seen it. No one I knew had seen it.
Right, because he wasn't playing for you. He was playing
Well, I know,
clubs
but
in the
yeah,
South
but like,
or whatever.
people don't actually go to comedy clubs. Like, that's the thing. That's like a subset of person. Like, most
Well,
people just
but
know comedians from television. Especially, we were kids. We couldn't even get into clubs, even if he was playing up there. Maybe he was.
Right.
Who fucking knows? He
I
wasn't,
don't
but, you know.
understand how this disproves what I said, though.
I don't remember what we were saying.
I was saying that he might have just been doing that character for so long that he had already become Larry the Cable Guy
Oh.
permanently, and you just hadn't heard of him yet. And then you said, "Yeah, but I just hadn't heard of him yet."
No, I am not accepting this.
Anyway, I mean, suffice it to say, Larry the Cable Guy is an extremely infuriating person to listen to. So if that, bad example of a fun comedian doing a good character, because he's not a fun comedian and he's not doing a good character.
I wasn't looking for fun comedians doing good
Daniel
characters.
Lawrence Whitney.
Weird comedians who did weird characters and then convinced themselves they were their own characters.
Yeah. Who's the best? Who's the best blue collar comedy guy?
Honestly, I think back when I first saw it, I would have said Ron White, just because he was.
He has that one joke that everyone.
Because he was. Whatever. He had some good jokes. He was the angry one, and he was the least openly conservative one, or whatever. But probably in retrospect, Jeff Foxworthy totally has the best stage presence and performance, I think.
I can't even think of a Jeff Foxworthy bit.
I haven't seen any of Jeff Foxworthy's comedy in forever,
Yeah,
but
me
I'm
neither.
sure if I saw it, I'd be like,
Yeah, whatever.
oh, this is all pretty decent, all heteronormative, whatever.
Yeah. Dad comedy.
Basically, I liked all the Jeff Foxworthy stuff I saw as a kid, and if I were going to insult it now, I would basically just be making up problems in my own head.
I was gonna say before I had to double back on figuring out if you were disagreeing with me on purpose or by accident. The thing I was gonna say about comedy clubs was you're like, nobody goes to comedy clubs, which is interesting. I mean, people obviously do because they exist, and there are comedians who get paid at them. But it is weird the kind of people that go to comedy clubs, which is there's to oversimplify, there's two kinds of clubs and two kinds of people that go to clubs. There's the the two kinds of clubs are for the two different kinds of people, and one are people who go, you know what would be fun if we just went to a comedy club and saw some comedy.
Yeah.
And then the other kind are people who like comedy and going to comedy shows. And the kind of club that births a thing like Larry the Cable Guy is the former.
Right.
So that's why, and that's why comedians go from basically as far, total nobodies to being one of the most famous people in the country seemingly overnight, is because no one, all those randos who have been seeing who go to comedy clubs just randomly and have maybe seen you and have maybe not, they don't talk to other people about the show because they just did it for a laugh one night. and then you get a spot on. This is like the old style of thing. Then you get on TV, and then it's like, oh, this guy's been doing this for 20 years or 10 or 5 years, and then you get on TV once.
Once you're on Johnny Carson as Larry the Cable Guy, you gotta stick to it.
Right. And then it's like, oh, this guy who's been a total nobody but has had an act for 8 years, and then got on TV once. We're gonna put him on TV more. It's very weird. It's a very weird thing. Comedy's bizarre.
Yeah. Art is bizarre.
Whitney's catchphrase, "Get her done," is also the title of his book.
Right. Juliet in the chat offering Tim Heidecker as like an example of the inverse of the Larry the Cable Guy thing, where like Tim Heidecker is always appearing as the character Tim Heidecker,
right?
But like is not that version of himself off camera. He's just normal.
Couldn't
Tim
be
Heidecker when he's not performing.
He could not. You could not function in life if you were that. Tim Heidecker is a weird one because I really genuinely don't like the Tim and Eric show.
I wouldn't say I really genuinely dislike it, but I would say that level of comedy has like Tim Heidecker is way into the like fourth level down commitment to the bit that almost makes me uneasy, where like he's not always his character, but he will appear on podcasts as himself, but actually just be doing a character the whole time.
Oh yeah,
and, like that's the shit that really weirds me out.
But that's the thing. Every other thing that I've ever seen Tim Heidecker in, I've loved. I like him in every single context except the thing that like got him attention for the first time. Yeah,
sure.
Like even the other sort of like Tim and Eric related TV things, I even like those a lot. I don't know what it is. You see Beef House? You see Beef House, Kylie?
No. Appalach in the chat says Keith is right, but I don't know what they're saying that you're right about. But
it doesn't matter. All of it.
Yeah, just you're right.
Beef House is a really fun one. It was like 8 episodes long, and the premise is an unbelievable premise. Which is that like it takes place. The first episode takes place like halfway through like the 10th season of this extremely long running sitcom, and just pretends like you have been watching these characters for 10 years.
Great.
It's very, very weird and fun. It's very weird.
You know what's funny? Like, did you? I mean, I guess no one ever. I'm pretty sure I'm the only human who ever witnessed the existence of this show. But did you ever remember? I think it was a Comedy Central multi-camera sitcom called The Pits.
I have no idea what that is.
I'm pretty sure it only aired 2 episodes. And it was supposed to be like, it was basically making fun of like the multi-camera, like family-friendly broad sitcom thing. But I remember like as a kid, maybe the show just wasn't good enough at what they were doing, but like it was all supposed to be this like so unfunny, it's hilarious, like kind of cringingly terrible jokes, like pretending to be a multicam sitcom. But I remember seeing it like at the age of 9 or 10 and just being like, who the fuck made this atrociously cringy and awful sitcom? Who ever thought that this should be on television? And now I'm like, I need to go back and rewatch it. Like, was it terrible or did I just not get it? The second episode was about the son of the family wanting to become a ventriloquist, and then the ventriloquist dummy coming to life and trying to kill them, I think.
It looks like there were 7 episodes in 2003.
But did they all air, though? They couldn't have all aired.
It looks like they all aired.
Oh.
This is not in order. I don't know how to...
PITTF.
This does not seem... This maybe is not what you're talking about.
No?
Faith convinces her parents she needs a car. They ultimately purchase a VW Bug that Faith discovers is haunted. Aside from this, she discovers she is falling in love with the spirit possessing the vehicle. Liz decides the family needs a nanny. Unfortunately, she employs a girl who Bob stood up as a prom date after no, that one does sound.
Hang on.
Bob and Liz are bitten by werewolves and begin to transform each night into monsters. The children go to huge lengths to help their parents and try to keep them out of trouble. The parents are impressed by the amount of effort their presumed lazy children go to. Oh, wait, no, here it is. Bob, in an attempt to save Petey's birthday party, pulls out an old possessed ventriloquist dummy and becomes the hit of the party. In return, Bob has to agree to let the dummy live with the family. The dummy the dummy now free goes on a rampage to destroy Bob's family and his life.
Keith, this is our next Let's Watch.
This sounds like a more complicated show than you were giving it credit.
Well, I only saw 2 episodes, and I don't remember the first one having a supernatural premise, but maybe I just
This one has a supernatural premise. The ventriloquist one. Did you not hear what I...
Yeah, no, as you're reading these descriptions, I was like, oh, the whole thing was that every show was like another out of left field supernatural premise. But I didn't get that because I only saw the ventriloquist dummy thing, and I just really thought it was so awful I didn't want to keep watching. Maybe we'll watch it, and like the scene writing is actually atrocious. Like, who knows?
The description for the pilot was Liz decides the family needs a nanny. Unfortunately, she employs a girl who Bob stood up as a prom date after realizing Liz was interested in him. Having gained access to the house, the spurned lover turns all her energies to becoming the new Mrs. Pitts.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's really funny how low stakes like stood up prom date is.
Yeah. This one's called Miss America Pipe. An explosion in the basement causes a piece of pipe to lodge in Faith's head, which causes her more than headaches. It might lose her the chance to dance in a music video.
Can we do a Let's Watch of this?
First step is to find it, because it might not exist anywhere. There literally might not be this anywhere.
Because I think this is great because it's a thing. As far as I know, only I
gets
know.
On a bus headed for prison, and the rest of the family must come to his rescue. You know, if you accidentally get on a bus going to prison, you have to go to prison.
Go to prison, yeah. I've done that twice.
This is so weird.
Yeah. Faith gets a Volkswagen Bug, but it falls in love with her and plans to marry her in Las Vegas. It's really funny. The episode's called A Bug's Wife. Yeah, what if I just because my memory of this show, like my memory of my reaction was like, this is the worst. Like, not, I don't know, probably didn't even know the term like broad sitcom or like multi-camera sitcom.
Tripe.
Like,
it's tripe.
This is tripe?
Yeah, tripe.
Like a cow's like from a cow's stomach?
Well, that is one thing that tripe is, but tripe is also like a bad version of something, like a worthless, like a not good, low quality thing.
You weren't going for trite with a T.
No. Okay. Tripe.
Okay, it's just tripe then.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Rubbish.
Like
Synonyms. Crapola. This is from Merriam-Webster. Cheese. Crapola. Dreck. Junk, muck, rubbish, sleaze, slop, slush, trash.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Thank you. And having seen my grandfather eat tripe a couple times, perfect word to describe something you think is gross and bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, my memory of my reaction to this show is just like, wow, just the most astonishingly bad, like broad multi-camera sitcom I've ever seen. I can't believe this got greenlit. And then after a number of years, I thought back and went, I must have been wrong. They must have been doing that on purpose, right? But
it did get canceled.
Yeah. So
I mean, they must have been doing it on purpose for it to seem like a boring trite family sitcom. I used the other one there. But then also to be like, in this episode, the main character gets a piece of pipe lodged in her brain, and the only issue is that she can't dance in a music video because of it.
All right, we have to find this because I'm always thinking like, oh, should we do a let's watch of this? Should we do a let's watch of that? But it always just feels like stuff that's like too popular. Or that's like, why are we? Does anyone need another person's reaction to? I don't know. Well, the world does actually need our reaction to the Dragon Ball Z movies, but that's a different
And
issue.
the Sonic movie.
And the Sonic movie. Those are the ones we do need to do. But I would love to just watch the pits and see what the fuck was going on with this thing.
Seth MacFarlane was in this.
Great.
Oh, you know what?
We're all happy about that.
This is after. In my head, I'm like, this is before Family Guy. This is what he was doing before Family Guy. No, this is after Family Guy, and he was just in a bit part as a cameo.
Oh, okay.
So it's not interesting. It's just annoying because Seth MacFarlane's annoying.
It's created by Mike Scully and Julie Thacker.
Thacker Scully.
Sorry?
Thacker Scully. I believe they're married.
Oh.
Yeah, Mike Scully and Julie Thacker Scully.
You've heard of these people.
Nope, I saw it on IMDb, and it had her listed as Thacker Scully.
Well, you know, when two people write
could be siblings.
When I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
When
Thacker
when two people work closely enough to write a really cringy, supernaturally bent, ironic sitcom that gets canceled after 7 episodes, you know, that's when all the emotions are going to come to the surface, and you're either going to fall in love or you're going to hate each other.
Do you know, when we were talking about tripe, I Googled tripe just to get the official definition, and now I'm looking at the images. Did you know that tripe looks extremely gross?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I've always heard of tripe, but in my head I was like, I would eat tripe. People are what, stomach, sheep stomach, whatever. Who cares? Tripe, sure. I'd try tripe. I'm looking at it, and I would like to think I would try it, but wow, it is extremely disgusting to look at. It really is horrific.
Oh, I am looking at the pictures now, and while you are correct that it looks weird and gross, I guess the thing I saw my grandfather eat was more like a tripe stew. So it was just like a weird sloppy bowl full of reddish, pinkish looking goop that had floppy bits in it that I guess was these large pieces of tripe I'm seeing here.
Right.
And large pieces of tripe do look creepy.
They look extremely creepy.
I will admit though that looking at these pictures, it is kind of that thing where you're like, well, maybe people are just off put by the way it looks. It just looks so weird.
Yeah, it looks really weird.
But just, hey everyone.
Hey.
I'm just gonna be honest. If stomachs tasted good, wouldn't we all be eating them?
No.
Oh, okay.
Here's the proof. Do you remember when bone marrow exploded?
Yeah, I had to go to the doctor and they had to replace
not when your bone marrow exploded. I mean when bone marrow became like a fancy food that people would like pay a lot of money for because it's delicious, and it is. I don't know if anybody has or hasn't had bone marrow before. It's great. It really is an incredible tasting thing. But like it used to be like the thing that you would get extremely cheaply at the butcher because no one bought it and because no one fancy thought it was any good.
They had to convince people they wanted to eat lobster.
Yep, that's another one. And lobster is really good. So
it's really good.
Yeah, well, so maybe tripe is just maybe tripe is on the cutting edge. Someone fancy has to do something expensive with tripe, and then we'll all like tripe. Because that's the only way that anything happens in the world.
Well, I mean, I think you'll find I actually don't like almost any foods, so I'm still not sure I'll like tripe. But yeah.
Are you that picky? You're not that picky.
I'm surprisingly picky. I'm not the pickiest person. Like I'm unpicky enough to sometimes get annoyed at more picky people, but like the people who exist that are pickier than me are like the ketchup only people or like the no onions people. Like I'm not, I don't like ketchup that much, and I love onions, but I'm not that much less picky than like a no onions person, I suppose.
You know what's
I always like here's the thing is like I really try to branch out, but when I'm being honest, every time I try something new, I just don't like it. Like I really don't. Yeah, it sucks, but it's just how I am.
um
It's how I was raised. I was raised to be bland and white.
you know what I also was raised that way, but you don't see that stopping me. I'll
Yeah,
eat your
well,
tripe.
yeah, go for it.
Um
I'll dig it right
the
out for
the do you want to hear the do you want to hear the infuriating online discourse that I saw someone try to get started? I mean, it got started
you.
enough that this random person showed up on my timeline with their stupid
Question.
take.
Can I run to the fridge and get some water before you start your story?
Yes.
Yay!
We're just waiting. We're just sitting here waiting. After this, I guess we'll start. We'll start the game. We'll start Sleepy Dogs, a game I haven't played, and that I'm not sure that starting Sleeping Dogs is going to produce a lot of actual playing the game content. It seems like a game that might have a lot of story up front, but we'll see. Um,
I'm back. Sorry, I didn't have water in the fridge. Had to get
oh,
it from the tap, but in a rare a rare turn of
events.
fate, for some reason my wireless headphones reached to the kitchen, which they normally don't, so I
Oh,
could hear you. And I was like, "Oh, Keith's got it. He's saying stuff."
um, correct me if I'm wrong on this name, but cetaceous. It could also be cetaceous, I guess. I don't know. I've not seen this word. Tripe in pho is all right. That sounds possible. And someone else said I lost it. A Simple Bird said the best tripe I've ever had was in a pastry. All the good flavor without having to look at it. That sounds like it makes sense. A tripe meat pie. That sounds right. What was I going to talk about when you left? Does anybody remember?
Yeah, you were like, it was it was the
Discourse.
worst new online discourse.
I saw
that
it.
you
I saw. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a thing that's going around, but it's just something that I saw from a rando that really annoyed me. But someone was talking about basically it was like uh it was someone who was like calling out non-picky people for being too mean
Too
to picky
non-picky?
people to yeah well they were saying like you have to stop you have to leave people who like only eat chicken nuggets alone.
Right, yeah.
Like, it was like a long serious thing about like leave people alone, stop making people feel bad for only eating chicken nuggets. And I just want to say, if you only eat chicken nuggets and you feel bad, maybe that's because you have a bad diet. That is not a complete diet. It might not be because people are making fun of you for only eating chicken nuggets. It might be because you have a dietary deficiency.
You know, yeah, I do. I don't want to come out swinging at like picky eaters because I know it's like one of those things. You get a lot of picky eaters grow up getting a ton of grief from their family. Like I think we imagine picky eaters grow up being extremely coddled by their parents, but a lot of them like get extremely not coddled food wise by their parents and
Oh
like
yeah,
get a
that's
lot
totally
of like
true. I've
chips on
seen
their
it.
shoulder about it and stuff. So I'm not here to be like, fuck you, try some new stuff. But like, I think we all know that chicken nugget is not like that's not like a classic food,
I also
right?
think
No one was out
yeah.
hunting and gathering chicken nuggets.
I also
So
think
there's
that
got to be something else.
I also think that there's a distinction not being made between like like, this is a message to all non-picky eaters, and instead, like, the thing you're talking about is assholes. Like,
Sure.
that is different than, like, than non-picky. Like, your message isn't to non-picky eaters. Your message is to jerks who are being mean to you.
Sure.
Which I think is different than being like, stop making fun of me for only eating buttered noodles.
I mean, hey, I'll say this about, and I know you're just saying chicken nuggets as an example.
Yeah,
But I mean,
that was something that the person who posted this specifically said was chicken nuggets.
It's like, hey, if you want me to meet you on your own turf, like, chicken nuggets is not even the best fried processed chicken product you can buy.
Well,
Like,
you're about those chicken patties.
I mean,
we know
of
this.
course, a chicken patty, that's barely a step up, but even that, you can get it all crispy. You can fix it with all kinds of sandwich toppings.
Oh, you think that the chicken nugget person is going to put mayo on a sandwich?
I'm saying they could branch out to cheese.
The idea that this person would branch out is actually non-picky privilege. So
I'm actually hurting them emotionally by suggesting that they could branch out to chicken patties. I'm sorry.
Anyway, yeah, no.
You could get one of those. They have the chicken strips.
Oh, is that what you're saying? Chicken strips is the better thing.
I'm just, you could get a fried chicken that's not reconstituted.
Yeah. This is the thing about being picky that drives me up a wall, which is like, if the one thing that you eat is like toaster ovened frozen chicken nuggets, it's not just that you're not experiencing all of what the world has to offer for food. It is the worst way to eat fried chicken out there. There isn't a worse way to eat fried chicken than to eat toaster ovened frozen chicken nuggets.
Oh, Keith.
Yeah.
You could microwave them. That's worse.
Okay, that is worse, but it's only because the preparation is worse, not because the food not because the oven makes the food better.
Oh, yeah. So time to play Sleepy Dogs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I do. Before we jump in, I want to have a Beanie Baby update. We talked about Beanie Baby.
A Beanie update?
No.
A Beanie you don't like Beanie update?
It's a Beanie bulletin. So we talked about the speculative Beanie Baby bubble and how Beanie Babies are all, you can get a tub of Beanie Babies for $1 on eBay or something. I haven't actually looked on eBay.
Unless there's a misprint. They sell for like $4 each. Like, some of the better ones sell for like $8.
It's so much, actually. All right.
You think
I was
so?
hoping it was a little bit lower, because the more we thought about it after I talked about it, I was like, we're like, Pokemon's going through a whole, resurgence from people who played it when it was red and blue. And, how I'm always yapping about that 30-year nostalgia cycle. I'm like, Beanie Babies are going to come back. Like, I should buy one of these tubs of Beanie Babies.
Okay, name a Beanie Baby. Name a Beanie Baby, and I'll search it right now on eBay and see how much it's going for.
Well, here's something. How about Chip the Cat? Because I was in Savers with my mom yesterday, which is it's just a consignment store. It's a big consignment store, so they have a lot of stuff in there. And like, clearly someone had donated like all their Beanie Babies or something, because they had a wall full of like Beanie Babies that had been separated into bags of 2 or 3 Beanie Babies. And just like, I'm walking past it and my mom holds up Chip the Cat, which I had forgotten existed until I saw, but I remember was like my favorite Beanie Baby, and I just went, oh, Chip! And I'm like looking at the wall and I'm like, oh my God, I love this one and this one. And of course, like, my mom and I are basically pointing out the ones we didn't have, because we were just like, oh my God, we had that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Did you buy Chip the Cat?
Oh, I absolutely bought Chip the Cat.
Tag?
Wow. Not good condition tag.
Okay. So Chip the Cat, you're looking at spending for it's cheaper for a McDonald's teeny beanie, but for the full size Chip the Cat, you're looking at a minimum $7 to take it, including shipping.
We missed it, Keith.
What do you mean?
We missed it.
Well,
We missed.
but
we missed
maximum is like
bubbles back.
$1,000.
We missed the bubbles back already. I thought maybe I had time to buy bargain basement price Beanie Babies and flip them, but
no, I think if that's what you want to do, you can probably figure out, because here's the thing, the cost is in the shipping. So we're talking about like $4 plus $5 shipping.
Oh no. Long Shorts in the chat says Jenny Nicholson is about to put out a video on Beanie Babies, so I wouldn't be surprised if prices go up. Yeah, Jenny Nicholson starts making videos about Beanie Babies. We're fucked, Keith. We got to get in. This is our last moment. Jenny, she's just a YouTuber who's great and makes great videos, and if she's going to make one about Beanie Babies, we're all going to be buying them.
Thai Beanie Baby Chip the Cat 1996 mint with tag, $9 free shipping.
Dang. I mean, hey, mint with tag.
I've got to, you know what? I've got to buy. Here's the thing. Your favorite was Chip the Cat. My favorite was Zip the Cat. I got to buy a Zip the Cat before this Jenny Nicholson video comes out. Whoever that is, I don't want her ruining my ability to buy a Zip the Cat in a week, because I do already have.
Oh, of course I had Zip. I mean, I loved Zip too, but Chip was just, the next level, really.
Zip was always my favorite. Zip the Cat was my favorite cat.
I'm seeing 2 different Zip the Cats. What is this?
There's like 5 different Zip the Cat. Kylie, there's like 8 different Zip the Cats.
Oh my god, we need all these Zip the Cat variants.
This guy Ty Warner, he was a fucking psycho.
he
was the George Lucas of iterating on Beanie Babies.
Genius. He was the Steve Jobs of plush. He kind of was, but I have the audiobook version of that Beanie Baby book, so we know that means I'm actually going to read it now. But I did get this chip for $2 because it was $4 for a pack of 2. It came with a total coincidence, came with Chip, my favorite Beanie Baby, and Snort, Cheryl's favorite Beanie Baby. So it was like, well, we gotta get
Snort
this
is that Red Bull, right?
Yeah.
I have all this Beanie Baby info in my head. How is this? How is that up there still?
It was incredible, like looking at that wall and just realizing, like, I know all these beanies. I know the little otter holding the piece of seaweed. Fucking bet your ass I had that otter.
I had that otter with the seaweed. All right, I'm buying this Zip the Cat.
Hell yeah. We're doing it. We're all getting back into Beanie Babies, everybody. Run to eBay. We're all doing it.
Look, I don't want to hear shit. Before you ever even brought up Beanie Babies, I had already gone and bought 2 Beanie Babies that I remembered for myself. Or is that how it came up? Is that how did it come up? Because
Bones the dog. That's a fucking sick looking Bones the dog for $4 with tag. That's an incredible looking Bones. I want that. See, it's happening. Fuck.
I had Bones the dog. You know who I had? I also had Rover the dog, who I really liked.
Of course. Oh, I had Rover the dog, Keith. Of course, I had Rover the dog.
We all had
the
Rover
red one, right?
I love his stupid, stupid snout.
Oh,
it ruled.
The coily snake.
Yeah, the coily snake.
I had the coily snake. Oh my gosh. I said this to my mom in the store. We were like laughing about it. Like, so easy to talk shit about Beanie Baby hype.
How is it easy to do that?
Explain to me. It's so easy to talk shit about Beanie Baby hype when you're away from Beanie Babies and you're like, why did we all care about these stupid stuffed animals? You see one, right?
Well, look at how good they look.
You hold one, you're like, shit, I'm back in.
I've got my Patty the Platypus literally right here, sitting on my speaker, helping absorb.
I had Chip the Cat in my hand. He was sitting in a mug. I have my Beanie Buddy penguin and turtle. We talked about them, and I have the Beanie Baby penguin, but I don't like that one's just like not nearly as good. Like the Beanie Buddy penguin just puts the baby version absolutely to shame,
which is rare because usually the buddies kind of suck.
No, Cheryl and I are on the same page about this. The Beanie Buddies were kind of better in almost every respect.
I don't like how big they are.
Well, the Beanie Baby thing was all like, oh, collect 1 million of them. Like, yeah, you don't want 1 million Beanie Buddies. You maybe want 1 or 2, but the 1 or 2 you get, they're going to be your favorite Thai product.
How do you know that Jenny Nicholson is gonna put out a video on Beanie Babies? Would she
Well,
tell you?
she does pretty high. I mean, for for the style of YouTuber who is a person sitting in front of their bed talking into their webcam, she does really high effort videos. So she's probably been tweeting about Beanie Babies for a month or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay, that makes sense. If you
Um,
look up a list of best Beanie Babies, it's just all list of the most valuable ones. Because people are sick in the head. Let Beanie Babies just be Beanie Babies.
cutest one. See the tough one, the one where you really get like to me the tough one about like the you want like a really good one, you want to have the good version of that one is any of the ones like Claude the Crab that are tie-dye. What they did was like every piece of fabric was just randomly tie-dye. So like sometimes you see I'm looking at a Claude the Crab that's like mostly brown with a little blue, and then sometimes you see a Claude the Crab that's just like a psychedelic,
Oh, mine was
light snow.
extremely. Mine was like all like cyan and like robin's egg blue, like almost
Nice.
100%.
So that's the tricky one, and like the peace bear, the bear that had the peace sign on him or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So that the peace bear, that was another tie dye one where you want to find one with good tie dyes. Now I'm seeing another one I didn't see. This is another tie dye bear, but it's not a teddy bear. It's like a bear, like a walks on four legs bear
Yeah.
named Sammy the Bear.
Oh, Jake the Duck. I remember Jake the Duck.
Of course, half these Beanie Babies say rare in all caps, which I think
Yeah.
rare just means like we didn't make we made 17 million of them instead of 25 million or something.
Yeah. Or they don't well, there's ones where they don't sell and so there's not a lot of people with them.
Hmm.
Oh, I remember taking bro,
Well,
I'm just looking at them. I'm seeing Bruno the dog. I had a Bruno the dog. I remember getting Bruno the dog and taking Bruno the dog to school the next day to play with at recess.
I'm looking at this Bones again. This Bones the dog. I mean, it's like it's not it's not one I think of as like my favorite Beanie Baby, but it's like the platonic ideal of a Beanie Baby. I think it's
These
like one of
designs
the
are
very first
immaculate. These
ones.
designs
Yeah,
are
they
immaculate designs.
genuinely.
They're
Yeah.
so good. It's
It,
unbelievable.
I want to get back into this Beanie Baby book. I think it sounds like Ty Warner is, like I said, like a Steve Jobs, kind of like one of these like sort of a weird asshole kind of a person.
Sure.
But like also they talk about him like, setting up displays of plush cats at toy shows and like going around each cat's eyes with like a pair of fingernail clippers in his hands because he needs to get like the eye contact perfect for his eyes, and like all the Beanie Babies are manufactured in China, which it's normally really hard to get like a high like level of like quality and consistency from that kind of manufacturing, because it's like, well, if you're an American, China is on the other side of the planet and there's a language barrier and stuff. But he would be like at the height of Beanie Babies, he was spending like 3 to 4 months a year in China at the factories, just like trying to make sure they came out right or something.
Oh,
Like he was extremely committed to his stuffed animals.
oh no, Kylie.
What?
3 months ago when I was looking at Beanie Babies, one of my favorite ones, Ringo, the raccoon, was like not expensive, and now the
Oh,
cheapest one is like $150.
no way. I just saw Ringo at Savers yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, well this is fucked up though, because we all remember Peanut, the dark blue elephant was the rare version of Peanut and was like one of the most expensive Beanie Babies. This one's so it's not in okay, it's not in good condition, but it's $13. I don't get it.
It's a boom and bust cycle.
Is it everyone like, was it all the collectors all, their first Beanie Baby was the dark blue Peanut or something, and now
Maybe.
nobody wants them? Like we all have a dark blue
Well,
Peanut,
if I can't get a
obviously.
Canyon, if I can't get a Ringo the raccoon, I might as well get a Canyon the cougar.
Really? No Ringo the raccoon.
They're 100. They go from like $150 up to like 1,000. Yeah.
What are you talking about? This is mint $15.
What are you talking about? I'm looking at buy it now.
Beanie Baby. Oh, okay. Yeah, buy it now. $15. Beanie Baby, Ringo, the raccoon, plush stuffed animal, mint. $15.
I don't see what you're talking
$5.99
about.
shipping. I'll give you the link. Oops.
Why are the rest of them so expensive?
Because I think the collector market is a lot of. Oh, that's a very big link, but that's so whatever.
That is not even clickable.
I know. Let's try
Here,
this.
let me see if I can go copy.
Let's try this one. I don't. Whatever.
Is this content? I mean, I guess
Oh,
literally
this is
it
content.
is.
This is content. I mean, everyone listening to this is running out to get their favorite Beanie Babies right now. So this is absolutely content. This is the content our audience cares about, I think. Oh yeah, you know, Thai Beanie Baby, Ringo the Raccoon, mint with tags, $3.90. Buy it now, $3.90.
For who?
For Ringo, our boy.
Ringo's really good. That's a really good one.
Ringo was my first Beanie Baby. And my sister got like the dolphin one at the same time. We got them for Christmas, and they were the only Beanie Babies we ever had. The tags were taken off because my mom didn't know that like the tags were a thing. I remember it was Santa. Like Santa didn't know. Santa accidentally took the tags off or whatever.
They only get the tags when they go through the Ty Warner shop. Santa makes them in his office.
Right.
Yeah, I also used to take the tags off.
Yeah, whatever. Like that's yeah, like any, you know, my daughter loves the very first thing anytime she gets a new stuffed animal has to take the tags off. You know, especially with the Thai stuff, she'll just yank them right off, and I'm like, yeah, fuck these stupid tags. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, because I think that keeping the tags on, there's two reasons, right? They have I guess there's three reasons. I think that there's a little bit of an aesthetic value to them, but I also think there's an aesthetic value to removing them. So it's sort of of a wash. There's also it has the name and the little poem or the little thing, right?
I didn't even remember till yesterday that they all had rhyming poems.
Oh yeah, they absolutely did. I really liked them a lot of the times. But then the third reason to keep them on is for the money, I guess. But I don't think I never considered these an invest. Like I was just a kid who liked stuffed animals. I had a bunch of stuffed animals, and I liked stuffed animals, and so I had a bunch of Beanie Babies. It was like my mom and grandma who kept buying them for me that were like, "This is gonna put this kid through college."
Right.
Like,
I mean, yeah, I think I probably bought into like the value thing of it, but. You're right. It's the aesthetic thing, and it's you know, like you could make the argument that collecting is always about the money value of something. Like that's why people were collecting them. But you know, yeah, they all have birth dates on them.
I don't know. I have collections that are not about the money. Like I don't collect tea because it's valuable.
That's true. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking more like like whatever. I think we made the case for the tags having a certain amount of value outside of just you can sell it for more. You know, it's got the poem. It looks kind of nice.
Yeah. It makes it look like a Beanie Baby.
Right, exactly. It now has that cachet where it's like if you take the tags off, anytime someone sees your Beanie Babies, they're gonna say, "Oh, there's no tags." And you go, "Yeah, I don't care." You have to like explain your tag you know, methodology to people. Here's why I don't keep the tag.
I'm just saying I don't think there's a conflict between not caring about the money and needing to take off the tags.
Sure.
I think that's hey, look, taking off the tags, that's just a different kind of desire.
Here's a Ringo with no tag, $4.99.
You know,
so they're not reducing the price based on no tag, so because that's right next to one with the tag. $5. So I guess we found out the tag is worth 1 penny.
Wow.
Not really. I don't know if I doubt anyone will pay $5 for this tagless one because there's one with a tag for $5. So there's one with a tag for $2.50. Fuck it.
Oh, I just figured out why it was only showing me the expensive. Why I was only showing me the expensive ones?
Collectibles?
No. I'm looking at it says eBay has a little thing here that says we removed some search results to show you the most relevant listings, and it's just
Ugh,
all the most expensive ones.
that's so funny.
Yeah, and so I was looking
We
at
wanted to
Rovers.
show
It was like
we
$80, $90, $150, and I was like, okay, let me press this thing to show me the less relevant listings, and it's like, okay, $2.
yeah. It's like we tailored these results to show you the ones that will get us the most money.
No reason.
Sorry, I didn't mean to totally side. I mean, I did essentially mean to sidetrack us with Beanie Babies because it's why I brought it up. But I did just want to be like, Beanie Babies, I got one. You know,
Yeah. I can't believe I'm already buying something on eBay again. That's so weird. It's so unlike me.
it's just it's always got that. You know what else they have on eBay is wood grain faceplates for Xbox 360.
I heard about your Circuit
Yeah.
City hand-me-down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So I just realized I had been wanting one of those wood grain faceplates since they existed, and I still didn't have one. And I was like, well, everyone talks about their dreams. No one's willing to pursue them. I'm gonna go out and get the wood grain faceplate. Uh, the weird thing is, though, it looks kind of faded on the edges, and I'm not sure if they just always looked like that and they never looked great, or if like someone has had this like exposed to light as like some kind of collector's item for a long time. Like it's in its package, but like did someone have it like on a shelf to be like, check out this wood grain faceplate? When obviously what you do with it is take it out of the package, put it on your Xbox, and then put it on a shelf and say, "Look at this Xbox with a wood grain faceplate on it." Uh, but yeah, it has a you will save 10% if you sign up for our like gamer say our gamer program Circuit City, and I'm just like, holy shit, Circuit City, like how long did Circuit City even coexist with the Xbox 360? Like, that had to be some kind of smaller window, right? Like, definitely my Circuit City had become a Best Buy by the time Halo Reach came out. So I know that.
Your what had become a Circuit City?
The Circuit City that was near the Burlington Mall, which was really that's the Circuit City I knew of that I went to that was near me, and it had already shut down and then reopened as a Best Buy by the time Halo Reach came out.
Okay. Oh, as a Best Buy. Okay.
Yeah.
Best Buy. That seems like it'll be around a little while longer, right?
Yeah, I think people keep expecting it to shut down, but I think at this point it's such an institution as like a retail store you go to get expensive things that are heavy and cost a lot to ship to you that they'll probably for as long as people are going to stores to buy physical objects and not just having them mailed to their homes, I'm sure there'll be a Best Buy.
Well, there's also like at some point, so many of the so many of the different places where you can get electronics and stuff like that
Mhm.
will close down. Like Circuit City's gone, Radio Shack's gone, Comp USA's gone. Like all these different things are gone. At some point, it's like, well, you have the people who are going to shop online, and then everyone else has to go to Best Buy.
Right.
And so I think it's like GameStop has been that for a while with games. That's why GameStop is still around, is because like it consumed EB Games, or I guess maybe EB Games consumed it, but then took its name. Like
Unclear.
all the different ways
I
you
don't
could
I
go
don't
and
think
buy
so.
games at a physical store are gone, except for GameStop. And so
For now.
for now, well, I guess you could also go to Walmart or Best Buy, but
Right, exactly. Yeah. So there's those places. I mean, yeah, like yeah, in some ways Best Buy is probably extremely hastening the demise of GameStop.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and then you have these weird in this like world of like retail shutting down. You do have all these weird kind of like unnatural deaths, like Toys R Us. Like Toys R Us shut down, and we were all kind of like, well, that makes sense. People don't buy stuff in stores as much anymore, and it's just a store that only sells toys or something.
Yeah.
But it was really that it had to close down because it just had too much debt and then got a ton of awful predatory loans that they were never going to be able to pay back. And so it's like this weird thing where like the demand for Toys R Us was still actually there, but it just shut down because like on paper they couldn't repay debt. Debt is the dumbest
Well,
thing.
it was intentionally gutted by Mitt Romney's company.
Oh, cool.
Do you remember that?
Well, I think this is what we're talking about. I just
Bain
Mitt
Capital.
Bain.
Bain-
Fucking called Bain.
It's
Capital.
literally called Bain Capital.
Can't
Yes.
get over that.
It's unbelievable. Yes.
It's in
Mitt
the name.
Romney's
Like
company.
we're here to kill your company, Bain Capital.
And that's what they do. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
they're like a fucking. That's what they do. They buy up debt, and then they force companies to close, and then they, because of how capitalism is, that somehow makes them a ton of money. I don't understand how, but it does.
Fucking psychotic.
Yeah, so they bought up a pretty much a healthy company's debt, and they used that to force them to close for profit. And I'm sure it is a lot.
America.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's the worst. Anyway,
Someone says rip Fry's Electronics.
I never even heard of Fry's Electronics.
Oh yeah, well that was just that was like one of the EB games, but it just wasn't in New England. Like that's why I think you have the perception of like EB Games bought GameStop. It really wasn't like that. It was just that EB Games was definitely the much bigger store chain. Like I don't even know if New England had GameStop at all, and then it just came in here because they bought FuncoLand. So like first the FuncoLands became GameStops, and then maybe could it have been FuncoLand that took that name? I don't know. I will say this though, like FuncoLand, I've told this story before. There was a FuncoLand that was near my house that I would drive past all the time, and I would see the sign that said FuncoLand, and I would always read it and go, what in the fuck is a FuncoLand? What just happened? Oh, here's Sleepy Dogs. Okay. I would always drive past FuncoLand and just wonder to myself, what in the fuck is a FuncoLand? I have no clue. And then one day we drove past, and instead the sign said GameStop. And I went, oh, I get it. They sell games. I should go there. I love games. And then I did. So, like, it was just always funny to me. Like, FuncoLand was the stupidest name for a store ever. Like, yeah, big surprise it failed.
Okay, I totally agree.
Definitely, EB was definitely the bigger chain around here. And yeah like, I think GameStop didn't quote unquote defeat EB Games in New England. They just all became GameStops because they bought them or whatever.
So this is a game that came out and was fairly well received, and I think has only become increasingly well thought of over the years, but I never played it, and it was on sale for like $2 like a month or two ago.
This was in development as True Crime Hong Kong for years, and got canceled and then revived as its own thing.
And then people loved it.
Yeah.
So who knows why it got canceled? I'm sure some stupid business thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the True Crime series never did that great.
Yeah. You got the money?
I mean, I never tried it because I always thought the title was stupid. There's another name thing.
But if this one came out and was cool, then people would have said, wow, that new True Crimes game is cool.
Yeah.
Look, I can get you 3-4 keys a week if you want.
I always think anytime you put the name, every time you put the word true in your fictional story, I just think that's the lamest shit ever.
Come, my friend.
Are you crazy? No, don't.
Maybe we can sort something out.
Don't fucking hack the dude up with the mic.
Damn.
Stop the person. Oh! This man is guys!
Fucking hell! Don't do it, man!
Damn. That's a lot of blood already.
This is a true crime.
That was a crime.
truly a crime.
They're in the rain, which makes sense because that's where you do crime.
What's the next?
Follow Nas.
Do you see anyone? I think they're after Wu. Crazy fuck. Shit! Run!
Okay, so you tap the sprint button to vault. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good way of doing that. All of the environmental things were just like a quick let go and repress of the sprint button.
How's frame rate on your end?
Pretty good. Do you have bad screen share frame? Oh, people can't see the game.
Fine.
Oh, my bad.
It's fine. It's a little choppy.
Boom. Now you can see it.
Oh my god, they couldn't see it.
Behind the scenes, I had everything set up and then realized, oh, I'm using the wrong.
The game is really loud for me, and I know that every time you say that,
You
you're
can
like,
turn it down on your end.
I know, but then I listen back to the stream, and it really was too loud.
All right, well, stop talking. That is pretty loud. But look at this. I was arrested. Great. See, this couldn't have waited until after the scripted event.
No, it couldn't have. What do you mean? You just don't want people to hear what we say?
It's almost as low as it can go.
Oh, well, okay. I thought we were gonna put it up to put dialogue back to 3. We want to hear what these people say.
I put it on 0. I meant to put it on 1.
I thought you were just gonna do like a Streamlabs slider.
Are you crazy? Keep moving!
So this was a drug deal gone wrong, and we may or may not be an undercover cop. It's hard to tell. I'm not 100% sure yet.
I can smell the fish market.
They're getting me! What's with these guys?
I can't smell it anymore. We're outside now. It's just salty now because of the ocean.
All I can smell is the rain.
Oh, the driving rain.
Oh, a little framey there.
I'm not, I agree. I have heard a lot of people still remember this game positively. I haven't heard anyone, I don't think, having played it recently. So I'd be.
That's true. Yeah, I just hear people remembering it more fondly.
Yeah, but they sure did. They sure were fond of it at the time. That's for sure.
It was a sort of. It's called Sleeping Dogs. It was sort of a sleeper hit.
Good thing not everyone let him lie, huh?
Ah.
I mean, maybe too many people let them lie to get a Sleeping Dogs 2.
For more prosperity, man. Oh shit, Jackie Ma.
It could still happen.
It is you.
Oh, it sure could still
When
happen.
did you get back? Well, wait, man.
I mean, at this point, I expect a Sleeping Dogs 2 more than I expect a Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Whatever, man. Ask anyone. Jackie Ma still looks good.
Jackie Ma is still the same old, but good to see you.
What the fuck? They finally deport your ass from the United States?
That was mutual. Time I came
I'm
home
gonna
anyway.
hook up a.
Mutual.
Home sweet home. So what they get you on?
Nothing that'll stick.
Ha. Well, don't let them pin any extra shit on you. Fuckers will try, let me tell you. Once they hear you're from old prosperity, happens all the time.
Hey, so you still in touch with any of the guys from there?
A few, people kind of go their separate ways, but you remember Winston? He's moved all the way up to Redpole in the Sun On Ye. I've got a couple of things going with him right now, matter of fact.
Huh. Red Pole and the Sun on Ye. Shit, Dog Eyes always said he'd be running that neighborhood.
Oh, Dog Eyes is a Redpole too. And still a total poke guy. He was the one who got Winston in. They were pretty tight back then, but now... Hey, wasn't Dog Eyes hanging with your sister?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Hey, remember when we were kids and you stabbed Dog Eyes with a pen? You totally saved my ass that day. Oh man, I gotta tell Winston that story. He'll fucking love it. Man, Wei fucking Shen in the flesh. I can't believe it. Check him off. Looks like I'm out of here.
Hey, Jackie.
Oh, sorry.
So look, if you and Winston ever need help with any of that shit you got going on with him,
Of course, man. Look me up when you get out. It'll just be like old times.
Sorry, I'm too interesting and personable to stick around. That's my call to leave the game and not come back for 12 hours.
You don't know that.
No, I don't know that. That's just my guess. I was just enjoying the scene, and then when he got called away, it just had big, like, you know, like Patrick Stewart in
Seems
Oblivion
that the evidence
vibes.
against
Like,
you has failed to
I must
appear.
die now.
How do you
Oh,
explain
yeah.
that? You must be a very dangerous man, Wei Shen. That is exactly what we want people to think.
Uh-oh.
I trust that my men weren't too rough on you, officer.
Ooh,
I'd ask
called
the
it.
Same question, sir. Those guys
Oh,
are out of
right,
shape.
okay.
It paid off though. I made contact.
How'd I
with
forget
Jackie
this
Ma.
so quickly?
I'm in.
I don't know.
Work. Use him to get close to Winston Chu. Do whatever it
I mean, I
takes.
didn't know. I was
They
just
will be
pretty
your handler.
sure.
You'll report everything through him.
Our intel suggests that Winston is looking for muscle. You need to find a way to make him trust you.
I've done this before.
Not in Hong Kong. American gangs, even Asian ones, don't compare to the triads here. The Sun On Yi is the most powerful
Look,
gang.
Raymond. Your name is Raymond, right?
Yes.
I grew up with these guys. I know who they are, what they are. All the intel reports in the world won't give you that.
We want the Red Poles, the lieutenants like Winston, all of them. And most of all, the Dragonhead.
Candidly, Wei, previous attempts to get close to him haven't panned out. We don't have much to go on. That's why you're here. I'm hoping that you can bring something more to our investigation.
I understand, sir. Look, the sooner I'm on the street, the sooner I can start.
Raymond will be in touch. Oh, and Wei, good luck out there.
Dude, these cutscenes are great.
Yeah.
Respectfully, sir, are you sure about him? He'll be under extreme stress maybe for a very long time. Now, I'm not sure he has the discipline to hold up. According to the file, he has a history of extreme behavior.
Yes, and an astonishing number of
He
convictions.
obviously blames the Trias for what happened to his family. It could turn into a vendetta.
Raymond, Wei Shen is perfect for this job.
This game looks pretty good too. What does this game come out like 2012 or something or 2014?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely
Wei
looked
Shen?
awesome at the time. Let's.
Man, this is going to be great.
Yeah, thanks
When did
again,
it come
Jackie. I
out?
appreciate the
I would
No
guess
problem, man.
12.
By the
Yeah.
way, you know
I'm
I
trying
tried
to
look
remember
you up
like
a few years back, but I couldn't find shit. Do they have internet in America?
I think they're getting it next year.
Guess you were in prison or something.
um
Come on, let's get out of here.
I forgot what I
Still
was
getting
saying.
used to
I was
being
listening
back,
to the cutscene.
Yeah.
Real quick. Gotta.
Ooh, the stream sure is looking framey though, I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh right, I was gonna look up when this game came out. Well, because I was trying to remember, like, was there a thing like, did this come out like a year or two before GTA 5, and it kind of got a boost from like so many people were desperate for GTA that they were like, whoa, this is just as good as a GTA.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, honestly, this.
And then it was better, so.
Yeah, and then it was better. Yeah, because this obviously seems like a way more interesting story than
Winston's a Red
GTA.
Bull now?
All this territory is Winston's. But Dog Eyes is pushing
Yeah,
it.
so, this stream is
They're both
extremely
Red Bulls.
framey,
Shouldn't
huh?
they be on the same side?
It is.
Should be. Dog Eyes always was an ass.
Like the stream basically is as framey or worse than the Discord stream share, and I just assumed it was only on Discord.
Hmm.
Hey, that performance has price. 2012.
No, I have worse internet right now.
Oh right.
So my current setup, I used to have just wired straight from the FiOS box, and right now I'm doing Powerline because my office is no longer next to the point of entry of the fiber optics. So I'm getting pretty good internet still. I'm getting like 150 up and down, but I'm used to more like 600 up and down.
Come on, Keith. You gotta run that cable. You know it.
Well,
you gotta run.
I have a 50-foot cable already running out to the kitchen to get a closer power. Like 150, I should be able to be streaming this, no problem. All right, I'm gonna take the stream down real quick and just check out my my